You're a glorified slave. You're a glorified slave, man. Like, why would you want to be a glorified slave? Culture will always be upstream from politics. Whoever can control culture can control politics.
I sure hope if I was assassinated in front of the world that he would raise hell to figure out what actually took place in that day. That's not being a friend. A friend is not someone who stays silent when lies are being told by the federal government. That's not a friend. Again, emotionally manipulative. The family can't have you finding out who actually killed him. The family can't have you looking into those things of who was pressuring him behind the scenes. That's not good for the family.
Kanye allegedly warned Candace to back away from Erika Kirk before she ended up just like Charlie, and Candace doesn't hand out warnings for free. So if she stepped in, she saw something. Because according to Kanye, once Charlie died, everything got weird. Fast. But before we get to that, let's rewind, because none of this makes sense unless you understand what Erika Kirk's been up to. Charlie Kirk was a man who built an empire by talking tough. He wasn't just another political commentator, he was the face of Turning Point USA, a movement that blended conservative politics with the energy of a rock concert. His rallies drew crowds, his podcast was everywhere, and in his world, his wife Erika was never far behind. Publicly, Erika played the supportive wife. She was polished, elegant, camera ready. She wasn't sitting quietly in the background. She was on stage at fundraisers, flying overseas, representing his foundation like she had just as much power as Charlie himself. To his supporters, it looked like the ultimate power couple. But privately, people say she was already testing the throne. She immediately got on the Charlie Kirk show and revealed she was running it now.
Nothing is changing, but I want to preface, we're not awkward. We're not like weird. We're not cringe. We're not going to be tweeting as if it's him. That's tone deaf and really disturbing. And anyone who does that's like morbidly off. That's not what's happening. What's happening is the team is keeping this alive because we have Charlie in each and every one of us. And it is going to be continually the North Star of the conservative movement, of the voice of the youth, of the voice of the base, and that will not end.
And fans refuse to see a grieving wife. One commented, "The stages of grief are anger, podcasting, content creation, soft lunch presidential campaign." Another wrote, "She's not right. All of this is wrong. We're being lied to. She's not grieving. She got promoted." And someone else pointed out that she's the happiest widow I've ever seen. And suddenly, Charlie's death was conveniently unexplained. Official reports framed it as a tragic accident, something that happened fast and without warning. But the public didn't even have time to process the headline before Joe Rogan, of all people, started dissecting it.
There's a lot of weird going on with this.
I know.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy.
On air, Joe said something that changed how people viewed the entire case. He looked into the weapon allegedly used that night. And the more he dug, the less sense it made.
The moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child. Why is that? Well, now you can't interview him.
But something else didn't sit right with him. The gun. It wasn't new, it was old. Too old for the story the feds were pushing.
Why are you using such an old gun? Like, that's kind of crazy. Like, is it possible that an old gun can be that accurate? If you have a gunsmith and they work on it, yeah, it's totally possible. You have a really good gunsmith and he sets, if you're like a nostalgic person, you like driving an old car, you could bring it to a mechanic, they could redo the brakes.
Sure.
And even Candace Owens supposedly pulled Charlie aside to warn him, but it was too late. So if Candace stepped in, that means she clocked something deadly. Ever since Charlie was shot, she's been tearing apart the official narrative, especially the part where the feds pinned it all on 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Remember when the FBI claimed Tyler was turned in by his own father and had been suicidal in custody? Candace straight up called cap on the entire statement. She posted that Tyler has never expressed suicidal thoughts. Then she also said, his father having turned him in after a confession is also complete fiction. To the contrary, Tyler Robinson maintains his innocence and has never even been to the UVU campus. There are absolutely zero photos or video that the campus can produce to the contrary. According to her, the feds are fabricating half the storyline just to make it stick. To make things worse, Candace claimed that the viral footage of the shooter couldn't have been Tyler at all. Why? Because Tyler allegedly suffers from partial paralysis in his right leg.
Tyler Robinson has partial paralysis in his right leg. And that's how people identified him, not from the photographs.
and his family, who has since been interrogated, specifically stated to FBI interrogators that because of the video that the FBI released at my direction and because of the photographs that they released, they identified their son.
This means that his unusual gait, his limp, was not because there was a rifle down his pants.
And to prove it wasn't just talk, she pulled receipts.
Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
In another leaked statement, she suggested there was a female accomplice involved in the escape. An eyewitness allegedly turned in footage to the FBI showing the shooter being helped immediately after the incident by a woman.
I didn't want to come out and say that it was a fact that there was a woman with the shooter without any proof. We had no proof outside of this person, and what she was saying felt real to me, definitively, but I needed something more solid. But we came across something more solid.
But strangely, the feds went silent on that detail.
Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So you see, she's talking about the shooter, and she says, I was wondering if the girl had given him stuff, and then somebody off camera says, you're filming, and she says, I'm sorry that you're filming, but it's very clear. There's no question at all.
And then the strangest detail of all surfaced. Kanye West allegedly told people close to him that Erika gave him a bad spiritual feeling. He supposedly warned that something was off about her, and many people were drawing parallels to him and Kanye.
Yes, Charlie Kirk said horrible things about Palestine and Palestinians in the past, but he also changed his perspective, and less than 5 days ago, openly spoke about being scared to speak out about Israel because he feared he would be taken out. And then literally 2 days ago, he spoke with Ben Shapiro on that show publicly and proceeded to speak out about Israel and dropped a bunch of truth bombs and tied a bunch of things together in the Epstein list and Israel and all these different things. And then the next day, this man is gone. A lot of y'all owe Kanye West an apology.
Most people don't realize this, but Charlie Kirk actually appears in Kanye West's new documentary, In Whose Name? And in hindsight, that footage feels less like a political strategy session and more like an unintentional omen.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're a glorified slave. You're a glorified slave, man. Like, why would you want to be a glorified slave? Culture will always be upstream from politics. Whoever can control culture can control politics. Like you getting political, you talking about 2024, you being open to different ideas, different conversations, you wearing a MAGA hat. It broke the internet.
The scene was filmed back in 2018, long before Charlie's death. At the time, it just seemed like another political stunt meeting. Kanye was in his red hat era, Candace was serving as communications director of Charlie's Turning Point USA, and Charlie was rising fast. But now, watching that moment after Charlie's death with Candace allegedly warning him about Erika, and Erika now sitting on his throne as CEO of Turning Point, it plays differently. Now, Kanye isn't exactly a stable barometer for sanity. But let's be honest, when Joe Rogan, Candace Owens, and Kanye West all quietly hint that the same woman gives them bad instincts, you don't have to be a detective to see the pattern. And Candace herself said that his family were hiding something.
I sure hope if I was assassinated in front of the world that he would raise hell to figure out what actually took place on that day. That's not being a friend. A friend is not someone who stays silent when lies are being told by the federal government. That's not a friend. Again, emotionally manipulative. The family can't have you finding out who actually killed him. The family can't have you looking into those things of who was pressuring him behind the scenes. That's not good for the family.
Erika Kirk is allegedly preparing to take legal action against Candace Owens. And if that move actually happens, it won't just be a lawsuit, it'll be a declaration of narrative ownership. And if you think Candace is going to walk into court unprepared, you haven't been paying attention. Candace Owens doesn't fight fair. She fights documented. If Erika goes through with this, Candace won't just defend herself, she will build a case. If Erika files that lawsuit, something's getting dragged into daylight. And it won't just be Candace. And if you want to see exactly what Candace is rumored to be holding back, the files she hasn't dropped yet, stay tuned, because that's where things get dangerous.